Today we are doing Unit 4A, Mission 1b. I can write ratios and rates. So first, ratios can be written in three different ways. A ratio is basically one part compared to another part of something. Could be anything. We're going to talk about things in the ocean in a little bit. So we could write a ratio as a fraction using the word to or using a colon. All of those represent the same thing, 1/2 or 0.5 or 1 to 2 or 1:2. They all represent the same portion. So it says here, what is the ratio of seahorses to clownfish? Well, our seahorses, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seahorses. And clownfish, those are these fish right here, we have 1, 2, 3 of them. So we could write the ratio as 5/3, 5:3, or 5:3. We wrote that ratio in three different ways: 5 seahorses to 3 clownfish. Next, what is the ratio of whales to the number of all creatures? So our whales, first, I'm going to erase some of this so we can see. Whales, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 whales. To the number of total creatures, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 4/14, 4/14, or 4:14. They all represent the same ratio. On a test, it would be the best if you simplified your fraction first. So 4/14, we could have simplified by dividing by 2 to give us 2/7. And then we could have written 2 to 7, because for every 2 of the whales, there were 7 other animals. Or for every 4 whales, there were 14 animals. It's the same ratio. Those are what we call equivalent fractions. Then last it says, what is the ratio of clownfish to whales? So clownfish, we already saw that there were 3 clownfish to the number of whales, which there were 1, 2, 3, 4. 3/4, or you could write it as 3 to 4, or 3:4. All right, next page, it says write the ratio in 2 other ways. So this one's written with the colon. We could also write it as a fraction or using the word to, 7/14. Again, if we wanted to, we could simplify that as well. I would accept either answer. This one, 10/64, I can write that as a fraction or using the colon, 10/64. And the last one here, it's already written as a fraction, so we can use the word 2, 9/5, or 9:5. I took each of those and wrote it in the other 2 ways to get a total of 3 ways to write the ratio. All right, let's take a look at this word problem. It says there are about 4,000 known kinds of lizards and about 1,600, known kinds of snakes. Write the ratio of known lizards to known kinds of snakes. So we want lizards to snakes. Using the word to is actually one of the ways to actually write the ratio. So lizards, there are 4,000. To the number of snakes, which was 1,600. We can also write that a couple of other ways. It doesn't say to write it multiple ways, so you technically don't have to. If it said to simplify the ratio, I would write it as a fraction and do some simplifying. We could divide each of these by 100 to get rid of 2 of our zeros to give us 40/16. And we could simplify again. I know these are both multiples of 4. 40 divided by 4 is 10. 16 divided by 4 is 4. And even further, dividing by 2, this is a review of simplifying fractions, we get 5/2. It doesn't say to simplify, so technically I would accept this as an answer. However, this would be the most simplified answer. 5 to 2, or 5 to 2, or 5:2. All right, let's flip over to the back side. Write the following ratios. We want Cubs wins to losses. So it's the spring training, each team is listed, and the number of wins that they have, and their number of losses, how many times they lose. So we're looking at just the Cubs right now, their wins to losses. So we could write that as 17 to 14, 17:14, or 17/14 as a fraction. Next, we want Cubs wins, which was 17, to all games won. So we need to count up all of this winning column. So we know the Cubs wins was 17, but now we need to figure out all the games won. So 16, 18, and 17, we're adding those up. 6 plus 8 is 14. 14 plus 7 give us 21. And then 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 should give us 51. So 17 to 51. It doesn't say to write all three ways, but we can do it. And then now we're looking at the Padres losses. So here's the Padres, their losses to the Dodgers losses, 11 and 13. So 11 to 13, 11 dot dot 13, and 11/13. So that's telling you for every 11 times the Padres lose, the Dodgers should lose 13 times. All right, I want you to try this one on your own. It says the following table shows the number of different types of CDs owned by Luis and Anna: rock, pop, and hip hop. Write the following ratios. So I'll give you a second to try that, and then I'll go through it. So first it says the number of rock CDs Luis owns to the number of hip hop CDs Luis owns. So we're looking at just Luis, rock, and hip hop. So first rock would be 9, and hip hop would be 16. If we wrote it as a fraction first, we could simplify this actually. We can't simplify that. 16 and 9, we can't divide by 3, can't divide by 4, so we can write it all three ways: 9 to 16 and 9:16. Next to last question here, we have total number of CDs Anna owns to the total number of CDs Luis owns. So if it says that word total, you need to add them all up. So here are all of Luis's. We can add those up, 9 plus 24 plus 16, and then add up Anna's as well, 28 plus 70 plus 40. Clearly, Anna has a lot more just based on all of those numbers are bigger. So 9, 24, and 16. Well, 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 9 more is 19. 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. So Luis has 49. So we know right here Luis owns 49. And now Anna, 28, 70, and 40. Well, that's 8. 7 plus 2 is 9. 10, 11, 12, 13. 138. So if we write this three ways, Anna, 2, Luis, 138 to 49, 138:49, and as a fraction. It doesn't really matter which way you write it first as long as you write all three ways. If it doesn't ask you to write it all three ways, one of the ways will be just fine. So you do have your homework. You're writing the ratio. It tells you specifically, write each ratio all three ways. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, on this question down here, number 4, that matched up perfectly. I forgot to actually write out the entire problem on this one, so you will need to do that. This shape is 4 by 5, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4 squares by 5 squares, and these two rows are colored in. So make sure you draw this on your picture or on your paper so that you can answer A, B, and C, which